Hi everyone, I'm Tushar Aroja. I'm the founder of True Network. I'm really excited to present among all of you at ETHIndia 2022-2024. So we started at ETHIndia 2022 with a project in mind that how can we create reputation systems for developers. It took off with some interest from the folks, developers, but we realized that the current systems of developer reputation and the infrastructure that we had at the time, and still, is not very well. It's not incentivizing to the creator of these algorithms, the creator of these reputation models. We need to build systems that make sure that people and their incentives are aligned at the protocol level, not just a chain abstracting all the values. So I'm really excited to present among all of you True Network, again coming to ETHIndia. Now, this time, you can build on top of the stack. It's an early stage testnet, but it still can deliver huge user experience improvements to your dApps. So first, I would like to get started with the talk's topic. Today, we're going to talk about, in this quick workshop pattern, that how you can use True Network for on-chain attestations and building reputation models. But before that, I think first getting into the tech, it's very important for us to talk about why does we want all of these tech. So today, if you look at the dApps that we built, the dApps that you're going to build at this hacker house, at this hackathon and beyond, dApps suffers through a very low retention rate, making it really hard to find a product market fit. On comparison to an average mobile app, Ethereum dApps have a 1 month retention which is dismal. So we need to solve this problem first, and we need to identify why this is happening like this. This is because I think there's no personalized experience for the returning users. So in Web 2, we have mastered the technology of how to make a user hooked, how to make sure that the user stays on the app. And there are even books written about it called Hooked, which talks about this hook canvas where you have internal and external triggers, action, variable reward, and then an investment. And this loop keeps going on and pulls the users in. In Web 3, which is capable of so much, is still missing this important piece, which is the variable reward part. Currently, in Web 3, we use reward mechanisms such as airdropping tokens and NFTs, which have been proven ineffective for a very long time already. This is because the fundamental problem with this idea was that it increases, as a business, if you operate, it increases your cost of customer acquisition, making sure that the user retain, reduces the LTV, and also more prominently, the thing is that it mixes your user's reputation with the financial rewards. Fundamentally, you would want a solution in which the user wants to stay in the app without having direct incentives. Reputation systems is the right fit for it. There have been already a lot of research being done on this topic at the theoretical level, that how can you build a novel reputation framework, and how dApps can use it for retention. And A16Z wrote about this as well, where they mentioned particularly that if reputation systems are implemented in your apps, there's a huge opportunity that you can identify, thus incentivize your high participating quality contributors of your app. So there is something special in this area about reputation systems. But the problem is that this is all theoretical. But here we have True Network, which makes it practical. True Network introduces a protocol level improvement that can make that enables you to separate points from economic rewards. The way it works is that as an app, you can basically give attestation to your user. Think of attestation as a simple piece of information about a job done from your user. So if you are a on-chain game which has most gameplay as off-chain, you can host, after the gameplay, you can give the user an on-chain attestation about the gameplay stats, that, hey, this is the duration you spent in the game, this is the, let's say if it's a tree climbing game, so this is the trees you climbed, this is the villains you killed on the way. And this attestation is persistent, transparent to all the players, not just the one who's getting it, and is structured and composable. So it can be used beyond this point forward on-chain itself in a permissionless manner. This is what we are looking for. But most of the times, all these attestations stay stagnant, and no one is literally using these. How can we make attestation actually useful? So this is where we actually thought and built something called reputation model system, where these attestations are parsed into a simple model, which we call algorithm compute module. In this, the memory already have this data about these attestations that the user have received. And you can define a formula, a simple formula that, hey, out of these attestations, this field, this parameter into this, and your whole formula about what matters to your community or your app is very clearly defined in this formula. This is the North Star for your community to see, okay, this is what I have to do to increase my reputation in that group. And there can be applications built on top of it that shares the reward curves. These are highly interoperable because of the shared state of the blockchain and the default nature of the blockchain. And this whole thing is on-chain on True Network. And we are able to do so using our architecture, which I'm going to talk about later in this workshop. So, by the way, if this interests you, we have $3,000 at this ETHIndia hackathon for you to build and show us something innovative and interesting that you used our stack for, and we'd be happy to give you some rewards for that. So let's see how to set up your project. First of all, when you are starting, you have to reach to truenetwork.io. This is our website and also the docs website. Here you can see we have a simple motto that you can create schemas, attest on-chain, and build reputation models easily. So first thing you have to do is exactly to start building, right? So the way it works is that open the CLI, create your first next app, and already the app that you want to have, whether it is front-end or the back-end part. So let's say I want to have a front-end part in Next.js. So what you have to do is to use pnpm create next app, and yeah, so it should ask us some app name. Let's say ETHIndia, and yeah, just go through the basic process of creating a next app. So it does create it in a few seconds. Yeah, so once this is done, you can switch the directory to the ETHIndia. And here is what the basic Next.js template we got. Now we have to start integrating True Network to it. The way it works is that we have created something called Reputation CLI. So Reputation CLI is your tool to get started, set up your project, get the private keys, get the environment set up, and everything done for you. So all you have to do is here, I have already installed Reputation CLI, but if you have not, so you could do pnpm i-g and Reputation CLI. So this will basically install at the global level the Reputation CLI into your system, and after that you can start using it. So you can use it something like this, pnpm Reputation CLI in it. As per in the docs, you have to just follow it line by line. So it asks you a couple of things, that do you already have a secret key, or you want to create a new, let's say we want to create a new one. Then what will be your app called? So here's, you place the app name itself. So ours is ETHIndia. And yeah, it started already setting up the project for you. And it's already done actually. So next step is that because we are on the testnet, you would need some testnet tokens to operate. So True Network is an app chain specially designed for on-chain attestation and reputation. It can connect to any other L2 that you want, so that you can get the utility of this reputation into your apps already. So it's not like if you're building on True Network, you have to just build on it. You primarily have your business logic on any other chain of any other L2, and you can just use the True Network for this attestation and reputation purpose. So when you want to get some test tokens, what you have to do, you have to go to this website, open this URL art.truenetwork.io/community. So we have a Telegram group there. You can join this Telegram community and ask for some tokens there. There are already 70+ people there, and we'll give you some test tokens. So let me get myself some test tokens first. This is my wallet. I'm giving myself 3 true tokens. Don't worry about this flow. You don't have to ever deal with this for most parts. Yep. So you can see the balance is transferred. Okay. Now going back to this, we have to register a issuer. The next step is in the docs. If you see, you have to register a issuer on the chain. So the registry of these applications happens on the network itself. The way you do it is that you just say reputation, pnpm reputation CLI register. It's automatically going to start registering, sending a transaction on the chain, getting the app details, and yeah, it will confirm you here that your app is issuer is registered here. Cool. This is basically done. Now you have a working product, like the working integration. You have to just implement the workflows as you like. So I can just open code dot the VS Code here in this project to see how it actually looks and what the project structure it created for us. Yeah, so to notice, there's a few things that we have to notice here, that from the basic flow, it had created some files here, right? The first one is basically it created an env file with some secret of true network. If you are building a next app, what you have to make sure is that you add next into next public in front if you want to use it in the front end itself, but ideally you could also use it in the API folder. This is the most important part here. This true.config.ts file is the file which contains everything that you need, and like it's the it is the base of your whole true network integration. In the config, you will see your account address from which at which you receive the testnet tokens, and your issuer and the issuer hash. Let's move forward ahead in this and take a look. So I'll comment this down here because I'm working in the next app. Now in the front end, if you open the SRC, there's a pages directory, and this is the index app. So creating an on-chain attestation is very simple on True Network. You can go back to this presentation again, this documentation again, and look at how to give an attestation. Giving an attestation means that, hey, you have a schema, you have a structure, you want to make sure that the user own a piece of it, a user owns some information of this structure on chain. The way you do it is basically you import your schema. You can, in this file itself, you can create something like schemas.ts file. And here you have to define the exact schema. So I'll create export. Let's say this is a Dino game, right? So Dino progress. This is my schema called. I have to use const here, okay? And then you have to simply do schema dot create, and yep, define your type here. So the type could look like anything. It's a JavaScript type. So let's say we want to give, we want to consider the type such as the time spent. It has like a U32. So based on, because it's storing on chain, so you have to follow the on chain nomenclature and the types there. So it's U32. Let's say we want to store something more. Let's say we want to store dodges, that how many obstacles it dodged. So let's say it's a bigger value. So let's say U64 at max. And yeah, you can similarly design more things. Let's say when you finished the game, what else could be related to this, so that we can think of something. Let's keep it this way only. I can't think of games much, but yeah. So we got this schema creation. That's it. That's your schema. You don't have to do any on-chain thing from now. This is your schema. This is a schema that will be attested on-chain. Now, how do you really make an attestation? So I'm going back here in this page. There's some UI and Next.js part here. Let's see if I can plug it in a simple button here somewhere to actually show how to give an attestation. I'll probably remove a few things. Let's remove this as well. Yep, we don't want this image thing as well. Yep, so we have removed everything other than the main itself. And yeah, so when you're creating, let's say we want to create a button here which simply says attest user data on chain, okay? And then in the on click event, you could add the hook here. So let's say you have something like const attest on chain. Yeah, and you can pass this here. Now, when you're giving an attestation, so here I'm using a very simple demo. In a usual way, you will have a wallet connect to get the user's wallet address, and you would also want some activity that the user does, and then finally give the attestation. My purpose here is to just show you that how easily you can make the attestation right now. So what you could do is basically the schema that you imported in the schema that you created in the schemas.ts file, you need to import that here, like dyno progress dot attest Okay, and here you have to pass a few arguments. Firstly, you need an instance of the API. So you could do something like, API or true API is equals to get true network instance. And yeah, add a await here because it takes some time. And here in the attest function, the schema we created is as simple as this 3 lines of code. And when we want to attest, we pass in the true API first, here like this, and then the user string. This user string could be a wallet address. It is a wallet address, but it could be an Ethereum, a Solana, or even a Polkadot wallet address. So we support 3 different types of wallet structures. For the purpose of this talk, you could actually, stick to one. So let's go to Etherscan and get someone's wallet address quickly here. So yeah, let's see if we can get a wallet address. This is a contract. Yeah, so this seems like to be a wallet address. Yep. So we can go here and I'm hard coding it right now, but ideally you will get it from a wallet connect or something. And then the last thing is the attestation itself. And the attestation has the same values or the same types that you have to follow the same types there, time spent and dodges. So you say time spent is, let's say, 10, and dodges is, let's say, 43. Okay, that's it. That's how you make an attestation on True Network. If you want to get some console log about the transaction details, you can do some console.log and get the transaction hash from here. Yeah, with just this much line of codes, we have actually made an on-chain attestation. Let's take a look onto the front end itself, that how it looks. Yep, if we can go back here, it's localhost 3000, I guess. Yep. I'll open the CLI as well here so that we can take a look if the transaction goes through really. I've clicked on the button already, and oh yeah, the same thing that I told you, I forgot that. Actually, when we use Next.js, I have to make sure that we follow next public, because it's we are doing it on the front end level, right? If it is back end, then it's fine. Yep. Yep. So let's give it a refresh. I've clicked on the button. It's loading. Let's see if the attestation really goes through. Yeah, we got a transaction hash. You can just copy it here and go to, when you want to look at the attestation itself, you can go to truenetwork.io/explorer/Raman. Paste this. Raman is the test network name. Here you will see the attestation on the Explorer. We are working on actually a better UI for you to see the attestation. So you can see the schema automatically get created in the batch call. This was the schema, time spent, duration, and dodges. And this was the attestation on-chain made for the Ethereum wallet address. And yeah, you got an on-chain attestation. So this is how simple it is to make. You can create many more complex types. We support a lot of types. We support hashes, text, and all different types of numbers, even negative values as well. So you can create the attestations for your users. Whenever you want to look at how's the Explorer and how's things going, this is a pretty new framework. It's similar to Avail Explorer. So basically you can look at here and you see this was our attestation actually that we created to the wallet address and the schema that we created. But this is the place where you'll see every 6 seconds there's so many attestations and transactions going through. Lastly, let's see the algorithm part here. So when you have given these attestations to a wallet address, you would also might want to create a reputation algorithm on top. The way it works is, again, you have to go back to the CLI here and use the reputation CLI again. So this time, what you have to do, again, if you follow the docs, the quick start guide, you have given the attestation, it works, voila. Now when you want to create and set up the algorithm module, what you have to do is you have to run reputation CLI setup and the directory name, let's keep it ACM for now. And this is basically going to set up an algorithm folder for you. So algorithms are actually compiled into Wasm and stored on chain. So it actually does this for you. And if you look at it in the folder, it created this ACM folder for you. And if you look at the config file, it already added this ACM path into it. So this config file is very important here. Now we already have something here, this basic calc function. All the code of the algorithm that you implement is going to be inside this calc. You don't have to ever leave this file when you're writing an algorithm or import something from outside of this assembly folder. The way you do it is basically you need some attestation types to actually create the algorithm. What you have to do, you have to use this command reputation CLI ACM prepare. So we are again at the root of the folder. We do pnpm reputation CLI CLI ACM prepare. If you can see this command, this is an important command. This is basically give you the type structures into the assembly script as well. So when you run this, before that actually, make sure that you go back to the config. In the schemas file, you have to add that schema of the type itself. So it was, for me, was what was the schema name? Actually, Dino Progress. So I have to add the schema here and import it like this. This is an important part. This is from this array, it will know the algorithm will know, okay, what's in the context. You can actually use attestations of someone else while designing your algorithm using this context. So we are going to do it again. It's probably gonna work, yeah. It created this file for us, attestations, and it reads the memory and gives us some basic structure. Now here we can actually import this file because it's already in the assembly folder. We can import attestations here. And now when you want to get the attestation values, you can actually do something like, const, what are the attestation types? It's time spent and duration. So let's say time spent is equals to attestations dot dyno progress dot, or maybe we can do something like this, dyno progress. We got the dyno progress attestation, schema. When you want to design the algorithm, you do something like dyno progress dot dodges into dyno progress dot time spent. Let's say this is a very simple multiplication formula, you have it here, but let's say you want to add something more, you can add 23 plus or something around, or you can even work on your algorithm as more attestations you have. You can have multiple schemas to be part of this algorithm. You just have to add it to this file here and then regenerate it from ACM prepare. I think for now this is a very simple demo, so it works. I'll just save the file again, go back to the CLI, do pnpm reputation CLI compile. This is going to generate the artifact that will actually go on chain, and it takes like a 10 seconds. Actually, it's done. So the artifact is generated. Now you have a reputation algorithm created. You have to deploy it on chain. To do that, what you have to do, again, use the reputation CLI and just say this command deploy. This will deploy this automatically on chain, and you can look at the transaction happening onto this explorer. If you go to the network and you see the algorithm is added, and this was the algorithm ID 118. And if you look back in the CLI, it should also appear something like that. Yeah, the reason why it took a little bit more time than the Explorer is because it took time to finalize, which is usually 12 seconds in total from the time you send the transaction. You got the algorithm, you created a schema, you created an attestation, you created an algorithm, you deployed all of that, and all of these pieces are on chain right now. Let's do one thing. Let's try to call this algorithm to see what's the output of this. So there's two ways to do that. You can use the SDK to do it in your front end to calculate the reputation score on chain for the user, or you can actually to do a quick try run, you can use the CLI for it. So let's use the CLI approach for now because we are running out of time here. So you can do something like pnpm reputation CLI dry run and then paste in the user address. Make sure that the user must have the attestation to actually calculate it, to calculate their reputation score. So the user must have this attestation, this wallet address. So if you run it, it's running, oh, sorry for that. But actually, it's actually running the algorithm for the user on chain and waiting for the response. So the overall score was 453. If you look back at what actually was compiled, it was 10 into 43, which is 430, plus something number that we added, some arbitrary number, I don't remember, which is 23. So yeah, that was the output. And this is how you are able to design this on-chain reputation. You can use it further in your apps as you like. And we don't have a trustless bridge right now to L2s, but eventually we will. So for now, you can actually relay this to these layer L2 chains. And you can also see it here in the algorithms module. What you can build at this hackathon is beyond the basics. There's people who have tried building on True Network for different apps. The major resources is this website and the community, Telegram community we have. The apps were built which uses True Network for on-chain identity, reputation, and there's something like this gaming platform someone built last week, which actually we are promoting. If you play this, we have some merch to give to you maybe later on. But basically, user got onto this app, they play some games, and their reputation is being calculated in the background. So this is like a very basic retro style arcade games. You play these games, and whatever you are doing on chain, your reputation will be calculated for that. It's something stupid. I don't know how to play, but yeah. So once I finish the gameplay, actually it's giving the attestation on chain, building my profile on chain, and giving, you see the attestation is already here, the time I spent, with the game I played, and a lot of information around that. And later my profile gets created. It's being used for other game developers to actually add new games to this website, target me to view those, and match games based on the user's interest and their reputation profiles. So there could be a lot more done to it. I'm really excited to see your demos at ETHIndia. It's a space for you to innovate, and we are really interested to see some innovation here. Thanks everyone. This was Tushar Ojha. I'm really happy that you joined today. I'm the founder of True Network. I worked with DevX as Subsocial for 2 years. ETHIndia fellow. My journey started at ETHIndia itself. We were the finalists in the 2022. And yeah, I hope you will be too this year. All the best. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.